wanted to share a story of why tens of thousands of people, including Larry David and Howard Stern, say a strange doctor from NYU and his discovery of a list of personality traits helped save them from a life of chronic pain.
What do you mean psychological? I feel it. You think I'm making this pain up in my arm?
I was so bad personally. During a radio show, I had to lay down on the floor. It was such a great barometer of what was going on inside of me.
So I'm making this video because I've been dealing with an autoimmune disease and chronic pain for 20 years now, a majority of my life. And when I came across Dr. Sarno and this list of personality traits, it actually changed my life. I feel like for the first time, I'm now getting to the root cause of my issues, which I've been trying to find constantly throughout this whole journey. You know, if you're anything like me, you're probably in a similar boat. You start seeing things like maybe it's a parasite, maybe it's a gene mutation, maybe it's exposure to toxins in my environment, maybe it's my bed. I thought it was my bed at one point. I bought a super expensive, comfortable bed, and then 2 years later, completely different mindset and thought, oh, actually, the bed's too comfortable. I need to be like sleeping on a firm surface. We're meant to sleep on the ground, and I bought this little futon mattress from Japan and got rid of all my furniture. I mean, I was desperate. I was desperate to try anything that would help. And now I feel like I finally found it. And the crazy thing is I thought all this stuff was so woo-woo and out there. It took a lot for me to actually give it a shot. And what really changed my mind was a life-changing moment where I was on a business trip in New York. And it was stressful. And we were about to hop on the flight back home. And I got in an argument with my business partner. And I had one of the biggest flare-ups I have had. And I knew right then and there that it couldn't have been some parasite or my bed or any of those other things. It had to be tied to stress and this heavy, heavy emotional response. And actually, the only consistent thing out of basically my life, changing medicines, changing diets, changing all this stuff throughout the years, the one consistent variable was myself and my mindset and my personality and the emotions, these strong emotions I had been feeling. And in a God moment, really, on that business trip, I had brought the very first Dr. Sarno book I had started reading. So on the flight home, my eye all red and inflamed, I got to the part in his book where Dr. Sarno explains the personality traits he was finding in all his patients with chronic pain. And when I read these, it felt like I was reading about myself. And for the first time, I really genuinely believed that this could be it. So this all starts with Dr. John Sarno, a rehabilitation physician at NYU who became known for his unconventional theory that many chronic pain conditions, especially back pain, are caused not by structural issues, but by repressed emotions, particularly rage, fear, and guilt. In the 1970s and 80s, after seeing that many of his patients didn't improve with physical treatments, he began to notice a pattern. They often had similar personality traits. This led him to develop his mind-body theory, which he called TMS, Tension Myositis Syndrome, arguing that the brain creates physical pain as a distraction from emotional turmoil.
Wait a second, how can that be? Almost all these people have x-rays where doctors have found some abnormality. Doctors told Keith his x-rays show 7 herniated discs. An orthopedist saw a bone crack in my back.
On my x-ray, I had real stuff, some disc problems, a crack.
Yes, and they are normal.
Sounds odd, but in fact, scientists have recently discovered that there's almost no correlation between pain and what shows up on x-rays and MRIs. Many people without back pain have disc bulges, and lots of people with pain have no structural problems.
With one lecture, Sarno cured me of 20 years of back pain. It's so embarrassing. I can't believe I'm telling you about this, but apparently I didn't have a back problem. I have a personality problem.
So these are the personality traits. This is the exact thing that made me a believer in all this craziness. Dr. Sarno said, "What I was seeing in virtually every patient was a remarkable similarity in personality. Conscientious, responsible, hardworking, compulsive, perfectionistic, and eager to please. It became clear that these personality characteristics induced great internal pressure and tension. That in turn led to the development of rage, which was repressed because it was unacceptable to the conscious mind. The rage was the major force behind the development of TMS." So the reason I made this video is because for the longest time I wasn't open to anything like this. I thought it was all woo-woo. I was offended by the notion that my pain could be in my head because I had experienced such severe pain for such a long time. And I just had a misconception of it all. And it wasn't until I came across Dr. Sarno and was kind of forced to look into this by that moment I had in the airport and reading those personality traits that I began to start to believe in this stuff and look into it more. And now that I have, my life has already begun to change. I'm seeing progress in my health that I haven't gotten from medication or all this other stuff in a while. So it's worth looking into. And I want to recommend a documentary by Michael Galinsky called All the Rage, where he actually follows Dr. Sarno and does a deep dive into all of his work. Michael experienced severe chronic pain as well and was a patient of Sarno's. And it's just an awesome documentary if you want to dive into this stuff and are interested. I also recommend any of Dr. Sarno's books. And yeah, it's just, it's crazy, this whole thing. But I hope that this video maybe helped open some people's minds if you're experiencing pain to look into this option, because I genuinely believe that it's true.
Dr. Stossel doesn't buy it.
We're talking about something very complicated, and this theory is very simplistic. Now, simple things are wonderful, but I don't think this cuts it.
What do you have to lose? Why not go to Sarno? Try it.
There are a lot of ridiculous things I could do that probably don't work that I'm not doing.
But this worked for me, your brother.
Well, as a scientist, I have to say anything's possible, but I'm not convinced.